John's treatment, while containing material different from that of Luke, has some of the same tone. In John, the fourth gospel, an anti-society document full of anti-language, the mother of Jesus appears in two scenes. At the beginning of the ministry at Cana, her request to Jesus, implicit in the report that the host had no more wine, is met at first by a rejection or refusal that reminds the reader that Jesus' action is to be controlled not by family need, but by the hour, the ominous hour commanded by the Father. Woman, what has this to do with you or me? My hour has not yet come. Yet when the mother of Jesus shows herself at Jesus' disposition, do whatever he tells you. Then Jesus does perform the sign of changing water to wine, a sign that functions within the task given him by the Father of bringing new divine dispensation into the world of Israel. The second scene in the fourth gospel, called John, is in which the mother of Jesus appears, is at the foot of the cross. Only John reports the presence of friends of Jesus at the foot of the cross. And indeed, he concentrates on the two figures whose names he never gives. Namely, or, pardon the pun, the disciple whom Jesus loved and the mother of Jesus. These two nameless figures in the story have symbolic importance in the fourth gospel. Have symbolic importance in the gospel. Okay? The disciple whom Jesus loved is the ideal disciple who has always remained faithful, even when Peter did not. Even to Jesus on the cross. And the disciple is given to Jesus' mother as her son. Thus, the issue of family again returns. The true family of Jesus left behind by him at the cross, and to whom he gives over the Spirit as he dies, is constituted by his mother, the natural family, and the beloved disciple, the family of discipleship, the Johannine Jesus group. These two, Jesus' new family, now become one as the disciple becomes Jesus' brother, and Jesus' mother becomes the disciple's own mother. Even though the gospel material is limited, the later gospels, Luke and John, make very clear that by the end of the first century, a remarkable role in Messianist discipleship was being attributed to the mother of Jesus in various parts of the early church. In various Jesus groups, you see this development where by the end of the first century, Mary is being honored, and there's a direction. You see, there's a trajectory going on in which she's being more esteemed and more understood as a symbol for what the Jesus groups are. As disciples, as hearers and doers of the word, as bearers of Christ, more importantly in heart, but also in womb. In an ecumenical book done by Catholic and Protestant scholars together called Mary in the New Testament, 1978, scholar Raymond Brown and other scholars spoke in a language of trajectory. The trajectory of the role of Mary increases in the chronologically later sections of the New Testament and continues in the subsequent church until Mary is proclaimed, eventually, to be the most perfect of all disciples. Y'all see that? I know there's not only Catholics here, whether we all agree on that or not, we can see that declaring Mary to be the most perfect of all disciples didn't pop out of thin air. There was a trajectory already begun in the New Testament. So remember when I show you that graph with all the waves, the 4 waves? You go to the latter waves where you encounter John and you encounter Luke Acts. By that time, there had already been several reevaluations and the estimation of Mary much more positive. and she was being symbolized, right? Used as a symbol. Perhaps some of our Protestant brothers and sisters might hesitate at the latter developments of Mariology, those post-New Testament developments. Okay, we have to respect our Protestant brothers and sisters. But at least this approach, which is done in this ecumenical work, Mary in the New Testament, this approach through trajectory that these scholars indicate shows that those later developments are not unrelated to the New Testament.